सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यः ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यः वंशर्षिभ्यः महद्भ्यः नमो गुरुभ्यः। On the page 5 of 17, read the first line. Katama atma iti yoyam vijnanamayah praneshu hrudyantarjyotihi पुरुषः सः समानस्सन् उभौ लोकौ अनुसञ्चरति ध्यायतीव लेलायतीव स हि स्वप्नो भूत्वा इमं लोकम् अतिक्रामते मृत्युरूपाणि। Even though the nature of Atma was revealed as the one that illumines this body, mind, sense complex, illumines all the luminaries, and there are luminaries here also corresponding to the luminaries out there. For example, sun is the presiding deity of eyes, so sun resides here in the eyes, and the moon resides here in the mind, and then the presiding deities. There is a correspondence between the individual and the cosmos, and you can say that the whole cosmos as though resides in the individual also. All devatas reside here as the presiding deities of different functions that are performed. It is by their grace that different functions are performed. So when we enjoy the grace of Sun, Lord Sun, then our eyes function properly and so forth. So the nature of Atma was thus revealed. Now Janaka asked this question that the self, but then sometimes we take the body to be the self, sometimes the mind to be the self, sometimes the intellect to be the self, depending upon what we are identifying with. So to clarify, King Janaka asked this question, Katama Atma iti. Which one of this is Atma? Sometimes they call the body the Atma, sometimes sense organs the Atma, sometimes prana the Atma, sometimes mind the Atma, meaning that we keep on shifting our identification of the different layers of our personality. Which of them is Atma? The answer is given, Yoyam Vijnanamaya Praneshu Hrudi Antarjyotihi. One that is Vijnanamaya, identified with the intellect, illumining the intellect, enlivening the intellect. Praneshu, in the midst of pranas or the sense organs. Hrudi, in the heart. Antarjyotihi, the inner light of consciousness. Purushaha, the one that is complete or whole. That is Atma. What does his Atma do? Saha samanasan. His Atma becomes equal to the mind. Ubho loko anusancharati, meaning that the Atma, the self, identifies with the intellect, let us say, and therefore the intellect assumes the dream state, then Atma also is the dreamer. When the intellect or the mind is sleeping, then Atma sleeps as though. The mind is awake, then Atma is awake as though. So understand that this waking, dream, deep sleep, they are states of the mind. They are often called states of consciousness. But depending upon what you mean by consciousness, they mean only mind by consciousness, so that's states of mind. It is mind that is wakeful, it is mind that is dreaming, it is mind that sleeps, has profound sleep. And as the mind changes the states, the mind is a reflecting medium. It is the nature of the consciousness to be reflected in that reflecting medium. So mind is in waking state, looks like the consciousness is awake, is a waking state. Mind is a dream state, looks like conscious Atma is in dream state. Mind enjoys the deep sleep, then as though the self is sleeping. So thus, it is the nature of the consciousness to identify, just as it is nature of fire, for example, to take the shape of coal, take the shape of iron, whatever be the shape of iron, whether it is triangular, round. So it is the nature of consciousness to as though take the shape of the mind. So mind is waking as the Atma is awake. Mind is dreaming, Atma is dreaming. Mind is sleeping, Atma is sleeping, or I am sleeping. So I am awake, I am dreaming, I am sleeping. They are the kind of notions I entertain about myself. Although Atma is free from all the states, consciousness doesn't go through any change or transformation. It's the mind that has. But because of the identification of the mind, looks like the consciousness of the Atma also goes through these different states. This is called samana san, being equal to the mind. Ubho loko anusancharati. And so then he acquires this different loka or the states. This world and the next world. Dhyayativa, lelayativa. Looks like the Atma is dhyayati, is meditating. Lelayati, it looks like the Atma is distracted. So when I am meditating, then I think that I am meditating, I am being agitated, I am being distracted. I say, I am meditating. I is Atma, and therefore we say that Atma is meditating, Atma is getting distracted. Although meditation is a state of concentration, a state of the mind, being distracted also is a state of mind. But because of identification, looks like the self is meditating, the self is being distracted. Dhyativa, lelayati means that it moves, agitates. So looks like the self is meditating, is focused, or the self is agitated. Then further, the passage number 7 said, Sahi swapno bhutva imam lokam atikramati mrityoho rupani. Here the Upanishad is discussing the states of mind. So waking, dream, this is what is being discussed here. This is the source of the discussion that we find in other places also. And here we find a more elaborate discussion of this dream state, etc. Sahi swapno bhutva, becoming dream. Atma does not become dream. Dream is the state of mind. But because of identification of the mind, he becomes dreamer, swapno bhutva, becoming the dreamer. Imam lokam atikramati. He transcends this state of waking and goes into another state called the dream. Imam lokam, this world or this state. So this passage applies to, it can be interpreted in two ways. That waking is a realm, dream is another realm. Deep sleep, sir, we are talking about the dream right now. Imam lokam atikramati, it transcends this world, this state, the waking state. Swapno bhutva, becoming dreamer, becoming dreamer. In order for the self to become dreamer, it has to give up this waking state. These states do not exist simultaneously. Meaning that I cannot be simultaneously a waker as well as a dreamer. Although they talk about some intermediate state like the daydreaming, etc., maybe. But otherwise, these are three distinct states, waking, dream and deep sleep. They are mutually exclusive, meaning that when one is, the other two are not. When waking is, the dream and deep sleep are not. When dream is, waking and deep sleep are not. When deep sleep is, waking and dream are not. They exclude each other. So he is swapno bhutva. Therefore, when he becomes swapna, the dreamer, meaning that when the Atma identifies with the dream state, the dreaming is the function of the mind. So when the mind starts dreaming, put it this way, the mind is awake, then Atma is awake. When the mind is dreaming, Atma starts dreaming. But Swami, when does the mind start dreaming? The explanation that Vedanta gives is that all the states are determined by the karma. It's my karma that determines the waking state. When the karma or the action which resulted in the waking state, when that gets exhausted, and the karma for the dream state, they become evident. And the waking state goes and the dream state comes. As long as the karma responsible for the dream state is there, so long I experience dream state. When that karma gets exhausted, then the karma of deep sleep state comes, I fall asleep. So Vedanta's explanation of these three states of waking, dream and deep sleep is that these are states of mind and it is the karma or the action, the result of the karma of the individual which result into the waking, dream and deep sleep. at some point in time we seem to lose the karma for deep sleep. Find it difficult to fall asleep. I guess the karma must be exhausted. Or sometimes karma of the sleep become very prominent and then we keep on sleeping. Or sometimes the person keeps on imagining, dreaming. So whatever is the state of mind, we have to have an explanation. Why does the mind think in a certain way? Why is the mind experiencing a certain state? Answer is karma. What is it that gives rise to the next thought? Karma. I do not know what the next thought is going to be, but that is determined by my karma. Swamiji, I am getting very bad thoughts. Result of some karma. I got some very good thought. Result of some other karma. And so, whatever happens, the state of mind is the result of the past karma or actions that we perform. And so, karma phala also is responsible for the different states of mind. There is explanation that Vedanta gives. What other explanation can you give anyway? Why does the mind start thinking in a certain way? There must be reason. There must be reason for whatever happens. And Vedanta seeks to provide that reason. And karma is, for an individual, my karma is a reason for whatever experiences I go through. Whatever happens to me is a result of the past karma. Swami, my karma is doing this, what can I do? You can't do anything about the karma that have been performed. But we can learn the lesson and it is perform good karma now, so that in future we will have good experiences. So that's what the law of karma explains to us. Law of karma is simply the law of cause and effect. Karma or action is the cause. Karma phala, the result of action, is the effect. Karma, karma phala, cause and effect. It's very simple. The effect is compatible to the cause. So whatever we have done in the past is what has brought about the present. We don't have any control over the present, but we can certainly create our own destiny by performing appropriate karma. So whatever kind of future I want, I am the one who builds my own destiny. So this is what law of karma explains. Sometimes law of karma is explained by the Westerners as that karma just makes you dependent, depend upon your luck. It looks like you have no freedom. Just the other way around. Karma means freedom. That's what Lord Krishna says, karmanyavadikarasti. You have the freedom to perform your action at every moment. That's called free will, which is what we are given. And thus, at every moment, we have the freedom to do what we like to do. Kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, anyatha va kartum shakyam, meaning that it's possible for me to do a given thing, to not do it, and do it the way I want. This is called free will. And that we are gifted with. And so we have to use that free will in making sure that we do what is beneficial to us, hopefully also beneficial to the world. And that freedom we have. Very often we lose that freedom. When do we lose the freedom? When we act out of impulse. For example, anger arose in my mind and anger controls me. At that time, I have no free will. It's anger that determines what I do. Kama, the lust that determines what I do. Lobha, the greed determines that what I do. So these negative impulses are also there in us, unfortunately. This is also acquired from the past karma anyway. And we also have all the positive, we also have the love and compassion and all those good, great qualities, virtues also we have. So we are a combination of virtues and vices. And we can take the charge of ourselves and make sure that we are not governed by the vicious, vrittis of mind, thoughts. As I said, create a distance with the thought. In the words of Puja Swamiji, a two-step response. What is a two-step response? First step is what the mind says. But I do not immediately act what the mind says. I take a moment, I step back, just one moment, and I evaluate whether that's worth doing or not. Is it right for me to do that? Is it beneficial or is it not beneficial? We can create that moment of distance and thus not get governed by the impulses of the mind, but we can use our free will if we are alert all the time. And that is what makes us human beings. If we are not alert, if we are controlled by our emotions, then there is not much difference between animals and ourselves, because animals also are controlled by their emotions. So thus this karma, as I said, determines the state, waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. Every thought is a product of karma. So waking is a series of thoughts, dream is another series of thoughts, deep sleep is freedom from lack of thoughts. Sahi swapno bhutva imam lokam atikramati. Thus becoming a dreamer, he crosses this world, meaning gives up this world of waking and enters the world of dream. Mrityoho rupani atikramati. This is a language, typical language of the Upanishad. Mrityoho, the forms of death. What is these forms of death? So ignorance or ajnanam is called death. And ignorance, whatever it brings about, Vedanta explains ignorance as the very cause of samsara, very cause of sense of individuality, the cause of therefore the karma and therefore birth and death. What ignorance does, we said it yesterday, is not only I do not know myself, but I know myself wrongly. Not only I do not know that I am free and limitless, but ignorance make me take myself to be a limited and bound being. That's what I think I am. And that is false notion about myself born of ignorance. It is that which creates in me a desire to become free because I feel I am bound. That notion of bondage creates in me the desire to become free because I cannot accept bondage about myself. I cannot accept a sense of limitation about myself. I cannot accept a lack and want in me. So the moment I experience lack or want or limitation, I want to be free. There is a desire then. So whatever I think will make me free is what I want to do. So desire ultimately depends upon what my notion of freedom is. But it may very well bind me, meaning that if my interpretation of what freedom is not right, if freedom is interpreted as the freedom to do what I want to do, then I may. If freedom is interpreted as freedom from impulse of what I want to do, So whatever I interpret as freedom. So freedom, Vedanta says, is not the freedom to do what I want to do. Freedom is to be able to do what is right to do. So I take a moment and do what is right and not allow my mind to dictate me into doing what is impulsive, but I do what is deliberate. So becoming a deliberate person. An impulsive person follows impulses of the mind. A deliberate person lives a viveka or discriminative life. So Bhagavad Gita talks about an impulsive person, a deliberate person, and finally a spontaneous person. Impulsive person is also ignorant. Deliberate person also is ignorant. But at least impulsive person does not know what ignorance is doing to him. The deliberate person knows as to what to do, what not, what to avoid. And he carves out for himself a path to freedom. Ultimately becomes free or spontaneous. So this is how mrityoho rupani. So when he transcends the waking state, he goes to the dream state. At that time, he gives up the identification with the gross body. So you know that we have a gross body and a subtle body and a causal body. So what you see here, this is the gross body. Gross means that which is perceptible to senses is called gross. So what all we perceive is gross. Gross world, gross body. Subtle means that which cannot be perceived, which is there, but what we cannot perceive. And so within this gross body there is a subtle body. And that enlivens the gross body. Vedanta says that as long as the subtle body is here, so long this gross body is alive. And when the karma for departure comes, then the subtle body departs from here. And this gross body becomes lifeless. That's what we call death. And so it is the subtle body consisting of the mind, intellect, organs of perception, organs of action and pranas. 5 organs of perception, 5 organs of action, 5 pranas, mind and intellect. Tattvoda. The 17 elements, they make up the subtle body. And thus there is a subtle body within this gross body. What's the proof, Swamiji? Well, the proof is that when the death takes place, at least for a short time, this body remains intact. It doesn't look like the person is dead for some time. Then slowly the degeneration comes. So that means that this body looks like as though it is alive, but it's not alive. There's something within the body that made it alive, and when that has departed, then the body is no more alive. So this is what Vedanta explains the phenomenon of death. As long as the subtle body is here, so long it enlivens this gross body, so long this body is alive, and the subtle body departs, there is nothing to keep this body alive, and this body becomes lifeless. Medical science doesn't accept the subtle body and stuff like that, because they will accept only that which we can demonstrate. Can we demonstrate the existence of subtle body in a laboratory or somewhere? We cannot. That is called subtle, which we cannot perceive by the sense organs. Whatever we can perceive by the sense organs is called sthulam or gross. And what is subtle cannot be perceived. If you don't accept something that you cannot perceive, then they won't accept the subtle body. But what is then of course medical science, there is its own explanation of why death happens, brain death and heart death and this that. But Vedanta says that when the subtle body departs from here, this gross body is no more alive because it is no more made enlivened by the subtle body. This you should know, this model you should know. So then only all of these will become clear to us. The subtle body also is called Jivatma, is the one now that experiences the different states of waking, dream and deep sleep. This gross body does not experience anything. It is merely what they call just a counter of experience. It is sense organs through which we experience things. And therefore, when we go to dream state, this body remains here. This Upanishad will explain how this Jivatma creates his own new body, which is suitable for experiencing the dream objects, and then we experience the dream state. When the karma resulting from a dream state get exhausted, and the karma for deep sleep state arise, then we go to the deep sleep state. So waking, dream, deep sleep, these three states are the experiences we go through every day. And we all know that we experience dream, we all know that we experience deep sleep, and we know, of course, we are experiencing the waking state. So there's three states that we go through. Who is that we? That subtle body, the Jivatma. Right now is awake, dreaming, sleeping. Sahi swapna bhutva imam lokam atikramati mrityoho rupani. And so this self becomes identified with the dream, becomes a dreamer, and transcends this body and the sense organs. We leave this body, sense organs, everything here and create our own world. That also we explain. So dream is a world that we create ourselves. And when this body and all sense organs, everything remains here, we create a new world for ourselves, that's called the dream world. So this is mrityoho rupani. So this is created from ignorance. Mrityu means ignorance. He leaves them here and goes to the world of dream. Then we come to the passage number 8. On the page 5. Sava ayam purushaha jayamanaha shariram abhisampadhyamanaha papambihi samsujyate saha utkraman mriyamanaha papmanaha vijahate. Sava ayam purushaha. Look at the translation. Ayam purusha, this man, this person, this self, jayamanaha, when he is born, shariram abhisampadhyamanaha, or when he attains a new body. So birth is acquiring a new body. Death is departing from this body. And birth is acquiring a new body. So as you know very well that Vedanta says that this is not the only birth that we have. Christianity or even Islam also, they do not accept any previous birth. They do not accept the rebirth. They accept only this life. Vedanta says that You cannot explain the diversity unless you accept the karma and the rebirth. Because what makes you different from me? What makes everybody different from everybody else? What is the cause of this diversity? Why you are what you are, and I am what I am. Why is it so? As one child was asking the mother, Mom, why do I have this brown skin? Why don't I have white skin? Etc. etc. So, why am I like this? Other people say God made you so. Vedanta says, no, your own karma has. It's not to condemn a person, but to explain that I should take responsibility for myself. The purpose of law of karma is that we take the responsibility for ourselves because we create our own destiny by performing karma or action. It is true that we don't have freedom to change the present because we are the product of the past, but we have the freedom to create our own future. So the law of karma is not the law of fatality. It is the law that gives us all the hope and expectation of that we can build our own destiny. So this law of karma is that alone can explain the previous birth and next birth. Otherwise, there is no law of karma. But what is meant by law of karma is when I am born in this unique manner. What makes me unique is my own karma. And I can continue to perform karma during my lifetime and thus create my own destiny, and then I will have another birth if I have. Since everybody has a different history, everybody performs their own karma, therefore everybody is different from everybody else. So this is what explains the diversity existing among all the living beings, among the whole world. Not only human beings, but other living beings also. All of this is product of karma. Nobody has any better explanation than this. And this requires me to take responsibility of myself. I cannot say, why did God create me like this? If God created everything, then I can always ask, why they created me like this and why they created that person like that? And then, we can always complain. And God is always in trouble if He does everything. But here, God is more like an architect. Architect makes a house as ordered by you. So God makes this body or this building as ordered by us, by our karma. So certainly God is involved in creating things, but then doesn't create by His own whims. He creates according to karma of everybody. I hope I am making myself clear. And this I am saying just to bring to your attention in what way Vedanta or Hinduism is different from other things, and how Hinduism seeks to explain the life in its totality. And that can be done only when we accept this continuity of life. When there is continuity of matter, that matter is not created nor destroyed, why do they not accept continuity of life? Why should life get created and destroyed when the matter is not created and destroyed, you follow? Just as matter changes the form, life also changes form, embodiments. Goes from one embodiment to the other embodiment. So just as there is conservation of matter, so also there is conservation of life. And therefore life is not created, nor does it die. It just gets transformed from one embodiment to the other. And what determines that is the karma of the individual. Sahi swapno bhutva imam lokam atikramati mrityoho rupani. It means ignorance. And so this body, mind, sense, the waking state, which is the product of ignorance, he transcends that and goes to the dream state. Okay, let's read the passage number 8. We read that. Svahayam purusha jayamana sriram abhisampadhyamana. So when this entity is born, when this jivatma is born, what is meant by born? Shariram abhisampadhyamana, he attains a body. So when my karma for living in this body get exhausted, I depart from this body, and depending on my karma, a new body is created, which is what I acquire. So birth is acquiring a new body, and death is departing from the existing body. So when the karma for me to live in this body get exhausted, I depart from this body, this is called death. And depending upon my karma themselves create a new body, which is what I acquire, and that is called the rebirth. Svayam purusha jayamana. So when this person is born, meaning shariram abhisampadhyamana, meaning that when he acquires a new body, papmabhi samsrujyate, he is connected with evils. This body is called papa. This body, sense organs, all of this is called papa or evil. Not, evil in terms with comparison to what you could be. You could be a liberated person. You could be abiding in the total ananda, in the total. And when you are here, you are not. So it is good to have a body, but then I am limited by the body. I am limited by my body-mind complex. And therefore, I always experience the sense of limitation. When I am here in this body, I always experience sense of limitation. And thus, I am deprived of what my real nature is, which is limitlessness. Therefore, being in this body, or identifying the body is called like identifying the death. So, by ignorance. Death means ignorance, and thus, mrityoho rupani, this jiva or person acquires a new body, sense organs, which is, mrityu means product of ignorance. Papmabhi samsrujyate, he becomes samsrujyate, connected to this papa means this evil or the body, mind, sense complex. Papa is because he feels limited. Limitlessness is the nature, and coming to this body means identifying with the body makes him feel a sense of extreme limitation. That is how it is called papa. Because being in this body deprives him of his, he is the nature of being happy or total. So then this is exercise that we are given. That God has as though thrown us in this, and now it's up to you to recognize your own true nature, own up your true nature, and enjoy the happiness that you are. In that, of course, the karma is there, and then I have to perform new karma, and that guide you. Then you will follow a life of dharma, follow a life of virtues, values, and thus we can slowly, progress or advance, ultimately recognize the true nature, and thus you abide in your true nature. Saha utkraman mriyamanaha papnaha vijhate. When he leaves this body, again when the karma is over, he leaves the body. The karma brings him to this body. He lives here as long as the karma is. When the karma which keeps him in this body gets exhausted, he leaves this body. papmana vijahati. He discards all these body, sense organs, all these limitations he discards when he departs from this body. Unfortunately, it's not the final departure. As long as he is not liberated, as long as he is bound, another body is waiting for him as a result of his karma. And so again he will enter another body, again identify with that body, again feel a sense of limitation, again do virtuous and evil actions, again have various experiences. If his past punya or past virtues they fructify, then he will have the right sense of recognizing that the human birth is meant for something much better than just eating, drinking and making merry. Unfortunately, most people don't even recognize that the human birth has any purpose other than that. But again, for us to recognize that also is the result of our past punya karma. The result of the past virtuous actions makes us recognize that, hey, this life is meant for not just, enjoyment of this, this kind of material pleasures. It has a purpose, and that is how then we will perhaps change the course of our life. Then next passage, same page number 5. Now I see the page turning, so no need to turn the page. Tasya vai etasya purushasya dve eva sthane bhavatah idam cha parlokasthanam cha sandhyam trutiyam swapnasthanam tasmin sandhye sthane tishthan ete ube sthane pashyati idam cha parlokasthanam cha. Tasya va etasya purushasya dve sthane bhavatah. Only 2 states are there for this person, the waking state and the sleeping state. So dream also is sleeping state. So waking and sleeping, these are the 2 states for this person when he is in the body. Sandhyam trutiyam sthanam. There is also a 3rd state, which is the sandhya, meaning which is the conjoinment or between the 2 states. So between waking and sleep state, there is another state called the dream. Trutiyam swapnasthanam. Basically, this person has 2 states, waking and sleep. But there is also this 3rd state, which is the meeting point of the waking and sleep, and that is the dream state. Tasmin sandhye sthane tishthan. Remaining in this meeting point, ube sthane pashyati. He is able to see both idam cha paralokasthanam cha. So when you are at the juncture of meeting the 2 roads, and when the intersection of the 2 roads, you can say this as well as that. So 2 roads are passing, they intersect. So when you come to that point of intersection, then you can see this road that you just passed and road that is ahead of you. Similarly also, this person who is in the dream state, it says here that he sees both the waking, he is in between the waking and the sleep states. So one state is the waking, 2nd state is the sleep, and there is a 3rd state called the dream. Then the passage says, Asa यथाक्रमोऽयं परलोकस्थाने भवति तम आक्रमम् आक्रम्य उभयान् पाप्मनः आनन्दान् च पश्यति. अथ यथाक्रमोऽयं परलोकस्थाने भवति. So the translation says that whatever outfit he has a different outfit. For waking state, he has one outfit. For dream state, he has a different outfit. Because to gain experience of dreams objects, this is no good. So we must acquire a body fit for gaining experiencing experience of the dream objects. So when you are in this world, for example, you have this body. When you go to heaven, then you need a body compatible to that world so that you can experience the objects of that world. As the worlds change, the outfit also changes. Waking state, this is outfit. For dream state, a different outfit is there which is suitable to experiencing the dream objects. Further it says, Saha yatra prasvapiti asya lokasya sarvavatah matram apadaya swayam vihaya swayam nirmaya svena bhasa svena jyotisha prasvapiti atrayam purushah swayam JyotirBrahmana. Good that you repeated what I said because this is not written here. Atrayam Purusha, that is in Swayam JyotirBrahmana. Sayatra prasvapiti. So when now he sleeps or when he dreams, asya lokasya sarvavatah matram apadaya. Then he takes a part of this all encompassing state of waking. In waking, he has various experiences. When he goes to dream, he takes a bit of the waking experiences. Matram apadaya. So what is dream state? Dream state also is a result of the karma. And whatever kind of predominant experiences I had in the waking state, they in a way determine my dream state. So it is that karma which determines my dream state where I take a part of the waking state. So dream is not much different from waking. When we are dreaming, we think that we are awake at that time. So dream is a product of the waking state. Every experience in the waking state leaves its impression in our mind. Every experience leaves its samskara or impression in our mind. So various experiences we have gained in the waking state have resulted into accumulation of many samskaras or impressions. So as we go through different experiences right now, every experience leaves its impression. Sometimes impression is very faint and therefore it may not have any effect. Sometimes impression can be very strong. Went to dining hall and somebody ditched me in the line and went ahead and I was upset. So that may be a strong experience. Or the other way around also. I was so thirsty and I don't know what to do and somebody brought me a glass of water. So that can be pleasant and painful experiences which are strong. And this strong, every experience leaves its impression, but strong experience leaves strong impressions. And some of these strong impressions then result into the dream state. So, we go through whole day, so many things, and a lot of things we don't remember, we don't even make note of. But certain things, a strange person I saw, or my old friend I saw. So the experiences which are, they leave impression in me. Maybe in dream again I may see that person. Or I saw these Himalayas and I was so impressed. Maybe in the dream I may see that. Or I can have a bitter experience also, which also left impression. I may have that in a dream. Therefore, the dream is a result of the impressions left in the experience of the waking state. So, in a way, dream is an a result of the waking state only. But what happens is at that time I acquire a new body which is appropriate for experiencing those dream objects. And I don't remember that I was so and so in the waking state. The dream state completely excludes the waking state, excludes the deep sleep state. Each state excludes the other two states. Therefore, in the dream I do not know that I was so and so. I may be a Swami in the waking state, in the dream I may become something else. Because there is Swami, there are certain limitations, and so the friends are all going to this Chotiwala and this wala and then, they have fun. They have fun, I can't have that fun. So I may do that in a dream, Like these fellows are all sitting around a dining table and, the lady of the house is serving them. So Swami is there and beside him is the head of the family, and then she serves me some sweet. And she skips her husband. So I say, hey, why didn't you serve him also? No, he doesn't get it. So that poor man wants sweet, but maybe because he has diabetes or what it is, his wife does not serve him. He sees me and other people eating that sweet, and so what all impression. So when he goes to sleep now, he may create all those sweets, and experience the dream. So certain things that we could not fulfill in the waking state might, we may have it our own way in the dream state. So that way dream state is a result of the various impressions we have built up in the waking state. At that time we have a new body, thank God, which is compatible to the experiencing of those objects. And the karma of the dream state depends on karma also. If good karma is there, then I may experience the sweet, which I was not given in the waking state, I may experience the dream state. My karma is bad, in the dream state also, again we may be around the table. Again this person, wife will refuse to serve him, so it depends on the karma. But dream state also is a result of its own karma. So here he says, Sayatra prasvapeti, when he sleeps or dreams, asya lokasya sarvavata matram apadaya. Of the various waking experiences he has, he takes a little fraction of that, which are prominent experience in the waking state. They become the result, or they determine the dream state. As I said, some prominent experience are in waking state, which has left a deep impression in my mind, that may create the dream state. So he takes only a part of the waking experiences and Swayam Vihatya, he makes his body unconscious. Who? The self. Swayam Nirmaya, he creates a new body for the dream. So I make this waking body unconscious. I create a new body for myself in the dream. Svena Bhasa, Svena Jyotisha, Prasvapiti. He sleeps, illumining his experiences in the dream state. As we saw that, his Atma, there is a light which that illumines experiences in all states, but in particular dream state. Atrayam Purusha, Swayam JyotirBrahmana. In the dream state now, there are no other lights to illumine. It is he who illumines everything, and therefore, Swayam Jyoti, he becomes a self-effulgent. He is self-effulgent, but the dream state makes it very clear that I am the self who is self-shining, self-effulgent. eliminating all my experiences, that becomes very clear in the dream state. So in all the states, the dream state is taken in order to help us understand that when there are no other lights available, still everything is illumined. So the only light there is the light of consciousness. And that time, he is the one who illumines his own experiences in the dream state. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo